UnkleBTDestiny here with you. Welcome you back for another reading for the month of July. We're now in the summer period and we've seen quite a bit that's been happening in the world. So we definitely want to see what the ancestors have to say and give us guidance on how and what we're going to be dealing with as we move into this summer season. So I want to remind you that this is a general reading. Anything more specific, we need to talk individually about that. Otherwise, look at this as a guidelines for what the overall energy of the month of July and the beginning energy of the summer period holds for us all. Let's go ahead and get the ancestors in and see what they have to say. All right, so we've got the throat here, and let's see here. This one is going to be work. This one is home. This one is family. So, what we've got here, work, definitely going to be continual movement. There's support bones. This is much more about the spine with the bones that are next to it. And what I'm sensing here is that there's going to be a lot more about getting some things into alignment around work. Now, that might mean getting an understanding of certain procedures or being able to strengthen yourself with certain procedures so that you'll be able to better do your job, or at least be able to have more of a foundation and structure that makes it easier and helps you deal with those moments when your situation that's come out of the blue and you're panicking. So some basic grounding is going to come into that, some more structural support, but also the fact that you've got that support around you to be able to get that foundational energy. So that's what we're seeing here with these bones. Now, as we move over here to the family one, it's pretty much sitting in isolation. So there's not going to be much moving around on the home bone. There's not going to be much moving around on the home front. So that's actually going to be a quiet place, and I think it's going to be an aspect of refuge, which I think we also get here in this with these sets of bones. So we've got several of the larger spinal bones over rib bones. So again, we have support, but we also have a lot more about the intellect and also the breath. So the idea here is, what is home? Home is providing a place not just of inspiration, but also of intellectual growth. So what are you doing in the home that stimulates you mentally? Are you creating pieces of art that speaks to both your soul but to your mind? Are you putting art into your home that does that? Are you organizing and creating more shelving space to hold books and elements of knowledge? So there's much more about developing that sense here with what's going to be going on in the home situation over this next month. So what are you doing to cultivate both spiritual as well as intellectual growth in your home to make it more of a place to as refuge? And that also then feeds too into what was going on with the work bone, in the aspect of it's about those skills, some fundamentals, those procedures that you're now having a way of understanding and working with. Okay. Now, more of the drama, as we said, as it is coming in here around the family. Now, we've got the family bone also next to the shell, which is flipped over. So this is much more about the internal structure of the family, the emotional structure of the family, the real meat of the family. And that's what we're seeing here with the fact that the shell is turned over, and much more so with the fact that the family bone is sitting on top of it. So it's a degree about, one, how are you protecting, but how are you also dealing with what is contained within the family? So there's going to be, I don't want to so much say it's going to be family drama, but that sort of goes with the sort of field. But it's very much that there's going to be much more talking about what makes up the family and makes up its functioning and how it deals with each other. And this is also supported by the fact we've got the support bones in here as well. Now, we have the quartz piece, which is in proximity to it. So there is going to be a lot of issues around memory, thought, But that also goes back into the issue about the roles and how this family is structured. Because that structure, it's needing to change. Someone who might have been the patriarch, it needs to be handed over to somebody else. Someone who was once the caretaker now needs to be someone who's being taken care of. Someone who was the wild one now needs to be the sensible one. There are old roles and there are old memories, and you want to recognize those, and you want to be honest and supportive to them, but they have to change. And there's some change in what the family structure and family order. I mean, frankly, anytime a family member dies, that order gets rearranged. Anytime a family member leaves for an extended period of time, say to take a job on another side of the country or world, or goes off to school, the structure of the internal family at that place changes. So right now it's about the internal structure of family going through some shifting. And key thing is to remember but not be trapped into memory and to those old roles. Now we have the copper piece sitting over here by itself. That's spirit coming in, and spirit is sort of getting ready for something. It's over here marshaling its energies, its resources, but it's having its effect. It's kind of like a piece of magnet, like you would have with magnets pushing away from each other. So this is something's going on right now. Spirit wants its space as it's getting ready, as it's pushing stuff away. It's pushing stuff away so it can get ready for whatever it's coming in. I feel like it's going to be a big doozy. As for what it's detailing, I'm not sure yet. But I feel like Spirit's got some big movements that's going to be coming up. And so right now it's just getting ready. So let's move on to our other bones. So let's start with this one up here. This one is the tail tip. Now it's over here near the home. So I would get the feeling that there's something that's coming to an end. But it's also a balancing point. So some sort of balance is coming to an end. And that balance, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's sort of done its course and it's moving. And we kind of see this because I get the feeling like it's heading off the reading surface. So it's something that's going away. So it's coming to the tail end of whatever that situation is. And it has something to do with home. So something related to either purchasing or maintenance or phase or arrangements is coming to an end. That's been balanced and it's on its way out. So accept that. When we move down to these bones, though, what I've got here is, and I sense a sort of a question. There's a big question coming up. And there's a lot of things around the support structure. There's a lot of things around new beginnings, which is that we have this piece here, but also with the rib bone. So there's spiritual influence, there's a mental influence, but then there's a structural support issue as well. So there's some big questions coming the way in this month. Questions that are going to be fundamental for setting up how we move into eventually the fall. And it's also, again, the questions of, which has always been a strong thing that I've pushed in all the videos, including in the first one, is that question of how are you being a human? And I know I haven't asked that in a while, and as we move into the summer, or winter, depending on where you are, it's a question of how you're being a human. How are you interacting and doing things that are for the overall betterment of humanity? Now, keep in mind, everyone is different, so that definition is going to shift and change. But overall, are you creating an environment that allows for multiple ideas to function and thrive and not destroy each other? Are you putting the premise of people and our connection is more important than what divides us? Because there's a strong sense of dividing, but how much time are we also spending on what makes us the same? What makes us function? Because we are all connected in many ways. So that's part of the question that's going on here, that we're looking to have some answers. We're looking to just explore and discover. And that also has its bigger influence on all of the readings, especially on the family, because questions of identity, which are major ones, are shifting. And some cases they're getting polarized when they need to remain on a spectrum, because no one person is a single identity. And so we got these last two stragglers here. These are ones I feel that are coming onto the field rather than going off. And there's stuff that's coming in, and again, they're coming in towards the family situation. So I would say in some, there's a potentiality, it could be a new soul coming into the family, but I can also feel that there's a new, like, individual, so some new relationships. So either neighbors that are going to become part of the families, new relationships that are going to be starting. So new boyfriend, girlfriend, new significant other might be on the horizon, and there's that aspect of how do they bring them into the family, and because when they enter the family, it does shift the structure as well. So there's a lot of changes coming on in this next month. Overall, what I see here is there's a triangle and then the question, but it's moving downward. And there's a strong element here of water. So it's all about water, and water is a lot of times representative of emotions. So it's about getting the emotions in place and in check. So that's going to do it for this reading for this month of July. This is Uncle Destiny, and on behalf of the ancestors, the Orisha, the various gods you believe in, and the creation of all things, blessed are you, Ashe, and be safe and wise.